Hello students, welcome to BioSmart Academy. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about a very important topic, that is facilitated diffusion. Okay, facilitated diffusion. Before I start this lecture, I just want to recommend you that please subscribe BioSmart Academy YouTube channel. This channel provides you free online lecture strictly according to syllabus of CSIR NET, and within 6 months of period time you will be in a position to face or to crack any of this examination. Okay, and please share this channel, as much as possible to all those students who are preparing for all this examination. Okay, now let's start. So as I already mentioned you that, see, in the previous lecture I already told you that transport is basically of two types. Okay, transport is of two types. One is active transport, and one is passive transport. Okay, and one is passive transport, okay, one is passive transport. Okay, so transport is of two types. One is active transport and one is passive transport. Okay, so out of these two type we are now going to discuss about the passive transport. In yesterday's lecture, if you saw that lecture, then you will find out that I already discussed about one type of passive transport. Okay, passive transport, we have to discuss the passive transport is basically of two types. Okay, passive transport is basically of two types. Okay, one is simple diffusion, one is simple diffusion, and another one is facilitated diffusion. Okay, another one is facilitated diffusion. One is simple diffusion and another one is facilitated diffusion. So in yesterday's lecture we already covered this simple diffusion. Okay, we already covered this simple diffusion type of passive transport. Okay, and in today's lecture our topic of discussion is facilitated diffusion. Okay, our topic of discussion is facilitated diffusion. Okay, and with the completion of this lecture we completed the passive transport system. Okay, then we will start the active transport system. Okay, clear? Now see, if we classify facilitated diffusion. Okay, if we classify facilitated diffusion. Okay, facilitated diffusion, facilitated diffusion is basically mediated by two types of proteins. One is carrier mediated proteins. Okay, one is carrier mediated proteins and one is channel mediated proteins. Okay, one is channel mediated proteins. Okay, so basically if we classify once again facilitated diffusion, then it is of two types. One is mediated by carrier proteins and one is mediated by channel proteins. Okay, so in one word, if we say that facilitated diffusion is basically work by the help of these two transport proteins. Okay, that is carrier mediated protein and channel mediated protein. Okay, while in case of simple diffusion, we already seen in previous lecture that in case of simple diffusion, there is no requirement of protein is there. Okay, there is no requirement of protein is there in case of simple diffusion. The substance or the molecules which are transported across the lipid bilayer in case of simple diffusion, they are basically diffuse, they are simply diffuse. No requirement of membrane protein is there in case of simple diffusion, like the requirement of protein is required in case of facilitated diffusion. Okay, the protein is required in case of facilitated diffusion. Clear? So this is about the facilitated diffusion. Okay, now we will briefly going to discuss about what is facilitated diffusion, and we will discuss briefly about these two types of proteins. Okay, so let's start. See, if we see the definition of facilitated diffusion, see, we all know that diffusion is a process where energy is not required. Okay, that is no energy is required. Okay, no energy is required. We all know that no energy is required in case of diffusion. Okay, The main thing is that the substance or the molecules movement is along the concentration gradient. Okay, in case of facilitated diffusion, the movement of solute is along the concentration gradient. Okay, along the concentration gradient. Okay, and the substance which are basically move along the concentration gradient, in that case no energy is required. Okay, no energy is required. Clear? Second point, facilitated diffusion is basically mediated by transport proteins. Okay, facilitated diffusion is basically mediated by transport proteins. Okay, I highlight that word, that is transport proteins. Okay, facilitated diffusion is mediated by transport proteins. Okay, but in case of simple diffusion, there are no transport proteins are required. Okay, now what are these two types of transport protein? I already mentioned, that is carrier mediated proteins and channel mediated proteins. Okay, carrier mediated proteins and channel mediated proteins. Okay, and another important point is that the rate of transport of molecule across the plasma membrane is greater in case of facilitated diffusion. Okay, it means the molecules that are transported, okay, across the lipid bilayer is greater, or is greater in case of facilitated diffusion. Okay, the rate of transport of molecules across the membrane is far greater in case of facilitated diffusion. Clear? So till this, I think you have got a clear idea about the facilitated diffusion. If you still have any problem, then please comment me on the comment box. Okay, now let's I will discuss this graph after some time. Okay, see now, and the most important point is this. Please remember this point about the facilitated diffusion. Okay, facilitated diffusion basically allow polar and charged molecule. Okay, remember this point, charged molecule. Okay, it allow polar and charged molecule. Okay, I just marked it as important point. Okay, so facilitated diffusion basically allow the polar as well as charged molecule such as carbohydrate, amino acid, nucleosides, ions to cross the plasma membrane. Okay, to cross the plasma membrane. Okay, so basically facilitated diffusion allow the polar and charged molecule such as carbohydrate, amino acid, nucleosides, ions to cross the plasma membrane. Clear? Now I have a one question for all of you. If you watched my previous lecture on simple diffusion, then can you tell me that what are the molecules that are easily diffuse or simply diffuse across the plasma membrane with the help of simple diffusion? Just give me a one example. Okay, that the molecules which can easily or simply diffuse across the plasma membrane by the process of simple diffusion. Okay, as like in the case of facilitated diffusion, charged molecule such as nucleosides, carbohydrate, okay, charged molecules such as carbohydrate, amino acids, nucleosides, ions are cross the plasma membrane. Okay, so given name of a molecule that can cross the that can cross the plasma membrane by the mechanism or by the process of simple diffusion. Okay, now next we are now going to discuss about the carrier mediated transport. Okay, that is one of the type of the facilitated diffusion. Okay, clear? Now before I start this carrier mediated transport, I just clear this concept of carrier mediated transport by the help of a beautiful diagram. Okay, so that you got a clear idea. Okay, see, suppose this is a bilayer. Okay, plasma membrane bilayer. Okay, suppose this is a plasma membrane bilayer. Okay, suppose this is a plasma membrane bilayer. Clear? Okay, see, this is a bilayer, this is a lipid, this is a lipid bilayer. Okay, this is a lipid, this is the lipid bilayer. Clear? This is a lipid bilayer. Okay, now next, and this is the substance that has to be transported across the lipid bilayer. Okay, this is a substance that has to be transported across this lipid bilayer. Okay, this is a substance or molecule that is required to transport across this lipid bilayer. Okay, now, and this is the carrier mediated protein. Suppose this is a carrier mediated protein, okay, that is going to transport this substance across the lipid bilayer. Okay, that is going to transport this substance across the lipid bilayer. Okay, this is a carrier protein. Okay, this is a carrier protein. Okay, clear. So till now you have got a clear idea. This is a lipid bilayer. Okay, this is a lipid bilayer. Okay, this is the substance which need to be transported across this lipid bilayer, and this is the carrier protein. Okay, this is a carrier protein which basically bind to this substance and cross this substance across the lipid bilayer. Okay, and helps in crossing this substance across the lipid bilayer. Okay, see, what do carrier protein do? This carrier protein basically bind to this substance. Okay, like this, bind to this substance and make a conformational change. Okay, make a conformational change. Okay, and make a conformational change. Okay, make a conformational change. Make a conformational change. Okay, make a conformational change to this substance. Okay, make a conformational change to this substance. Okay, and by this conformational change, now substance will be in a position so that it can easily cross the lipid bilayer. Okay, cross this lipid bilayer. Okay, so what is the role of carrier mediated protein? This carrier mediated protein first bind to the substance molecule, then makes a conformational change to that substance or to that molecule which need to be transported across the lipid bilayer, and then transport this substance or molecule across the lipid bilayer. Okay, so this is the concept of carrier mediated protein, or you can say that this is the concept of permeases protein. Okay, permeases protein, as carrier mediated protein is also known as permeases protein. Okay, clear. And because of such so many process, that first is basically bind to that molecule, then it makes a conformational change to that molecule, and then it allowed to pass through the lipid bilayer. Okay, so such a long process is there. Because of this such a long process, first bind, then makes a conformational change, and then only it can pass across the bilayer. Because of such a long process, it require more time as compared to channel mediated protein. Okay, as compared to channel mediated protein. Clear. Now let's look at the diagram of channel mediated protein, that how channel mediated protein transport the molecule, okay, across the bilayer. Okay, see, suppose this is a lipid bilayer. Once again I draw this lipid bilayer. Okay, this is a lipid bilayer. Okay, clear. This is a lipid bilayer. Okay, clear. Now, and this is the substance that need to be transported. Okay, this is a substance that need to be transported. Okay, this is a substance or molecule that need to be transported. Okay, substance or molecule that needs to be transported across the lipid bilayer. Okay, but in this case the protein is not carrier mediated, the protein is channel mediated. Okay, what channel mediated? And this channel mediated protein create a channel like this, create a channel, and through this channel this substance can easily cross the lipid bilayer. The substance can easily cross this lipid bilayer. Okay, so this is the mechanism of channel mediated protein. Okay, so channel mediated protein directly helps in transporting this substance by creating a pore or by creating a channel, okay, across the bilayer. Okay, so channel mediated protein is mainly deals with the transport of inorganic ions. Okay, inorganic ions. So remember this point, that channel mediated protein helps mainly in the transport of inorganic ions. Okay, because many times question has been asked in the examination that channel mediated proteins helps which types of ions for transport across the bilayer. So the answer will be inorganic ions. Clear? Now I think you have got a clear idea about the carrier and channel mediated protein. Okay, now let's read the PPT so that you get more clear idea. Okay, so if you have any doubt, then please comment and please share this YouTube channel as much as possible. So let's start carrier mediated protein. Okay, see, carrier mediated protein also called permeases or transporter. Okay, as I already mentioned when I explain you with the help of diagram. Okay, these are also known as permeases or transporter. Clear? They basically non-covalently bind with specific molecules. Okay, the binding between the molecule that need to be transported across the bilayer and between the carrier protein, the binding, the force is basically non-covalent, okay, basically non-covalent. Okay, that is, they non-covalently bind with the specific molecules that to be transported on our other side of the plasma membrane. Okay, the binding is non-covalent. Clear? Next point. And they undergo conformational change that allow the molecule to pass through the membrane and release on the other side. Okay, as I already clear you in the diagrammatic way, that they undergo conformational change that allow the molecule to pass through the membrane and release on the other side. Clear? They undergo conformational change. Clear? And the classical example of carrier mediated protein is GLUT. Okay, the classical example of carrier mediated protein is GLUT. GLUT is a GLUT. It is an example of carrier mediated protein. Here GLU means glucose. Here GLU means glucose and T means transporter. Okay, T means transporter. Okay, it means glucose transporter. It means the protein which helps in transport of glucose is known as GLUT. Okay, so question will be asked from this point as well. The protein which helps in transport of glucose is known as GLUT protein, and this GLUT protein is basically an example of carrier mediated protein. Okay, clear? Now next, what about this GLUT? This GLUT protein is basically composed of 500 amino acid. Okay, this GLUT protein is basically composed of 500 amino acid, and it has 12 transmembrane segment. Okay, 12 transmembrane segments. Okay, that is alpha helix. Okay, so GLUT protein is basically composed of 500 amino acid residue, and it has 12 transmembrane alpha helix segment. Okay, clear? So this is about the GLUT protein. Clear? Next, and these are basically, there is a basically isoforms of GLUT. Okay, isoforms of GLUT. And what do you mean by isoform? That is, this member of this GLUT are basically differ in their kinetic property and regulation. Okay, this is means they have similar structure. Okay, isoforms means they have similar structure, but they are differ only in their regulation and kinetic property. Okay, so now you have got clear idea about the GLUT protein. If you have still any doubt, then please comment me. Now next, see, now there are, as I already mentioned, there are basically various isoforms of GLUT protein. There are basically various isoforms of GLUT protein. Okay, isoforms of GLUT protein, various. For example, GLUT1, GLUT2, GLUT3, GLUT5. Okay, and you may be asked one question, that where is GLUT4? So I will give you answer just few minutes after. See, GLUT1 basically for erythrocyte. Remember this. Okay, GLUT1 for erythrocyte. Okay, GLUT2 is for liver, GLUT3 is for brain, and GLUT5 is for small intestine. Clear? And all these GLUT, that is 1, 2, 3 and 5, exception 4 is not there. 1, 2, 3 and 5, all these GLUT are constitutively expressed on cell surface. What do you mean by constitutively? Constitutively means regularly expressed on the cell surface. Okay, so which one of the following GLUT are not expressed on the cell surface, if a question has been asked? So the option will be 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the answer will be GLUT4 is the only GLUT which will not express on the cell surface. This GLUT4 is basically present in intracellular vesicle. Okay, this GLUT4 is present in the intracellular vesicle, and it is found on skeletal muscle and adipose tissue. Clear? This GLUT is found in skeletal muscle and adipose tissue. Okay, so GLUT4 is the only GLUT that are not present on the cell surface. It is present on the intracellular vesicle, Okay, clear? And I want to just mention you some another fact about GLUT4 is that when it was stimulated by insulin, okay, when it was stimulated by insulin, okay, insulin stimulation, when GLUT4 was stimulated by insulin, that is insulin stimulation, then what happened? Then what happened when insulin basically stimulate? Then it basically fuses. What is basically fuses with plasma membrane. Okay, fuses with plasma membrane, that is PM, plasma membrane. So when GLUT4 is basically stimulated by insulin, then it basically fuses with the plasma membrane, okay, and thereby is increase the rate of sugar uptake. Okay, and because of this it increase the rate of sugar uptake, rate of sugar uptake. Clear? So when insulin stimulated GLUT4, it basically fuses with the plasma membrane, and because of this it increases the rate of sugar uptake. So this is about GLUT4, which is present on the intracellular vesicle, okay, GLUT4, and all other GLUT 1, 2, 3 and 5 are basically present on the cell surface. Okay, 1 is expressed on erythrocyte, 2 is on liver, 3 is on brain, 5 is on small intestine, and 4 basically present on skeletal muscles and adipose tissue. Now another important thing, GLUT5 is basically present on where? Small intestine. Okay, and remember this point, GLUT5 is the only GLUT that transport fructose, okay, till now you learned that GLUT is a glucose transporter protein. Okay, now you can say that why it transport fructose. Okay, so this is an exception case, okay, where GLUT5 is basically transport fructose, and this point is very important from CSR and other examination point of view, because GLUT protein, we all know that transport glucose. So it may be asked in the examination that which one of the following GLUT protein is transport fructose. So the answer will be GLUT5. Clear? Okay, now next. Now the transport of glucose by the GLUT protein is basically described by an equation, and that equation is basically analogous to Michaelis-Menten equation. Okay, let see that equation. Okay, see, we all know that GLUT protein transport glucose. Okay, so the rate at which the GLUT protein transport glucose, okay, the rate at which GLUT protein transport glucose, okay, the rate at which GLUT protein transport glucose is given by an equation, and that equation is analogous to Michaelis-Menten equation. Okay, I will discuss in brief about the Michaelis-Menten equation when I teach you module 1, that is biochemistry. And the equation is that V equals to Vmax, okay, Vmax by 1 plus Km by C. So this is the equation. This is the equation. Okay. And this equation describe what? This equation describe the rate at which GLUT protein transport glucose. Okay. Now in this equation you see some terms. First, Vmax. What do you mean by Vmax? See, Vmax is the maximal transport velocity. Means above this the transport will not occur. That is Vmax, maximum. Okay. What do you mean by Km? Km is the half maximal transport. Means the time period at which half of the molecules or half of the glucose has been transported. That is Km. And what is the C? C is basically concentration of the substrate. Okay. Now let's look at the graph that I already that I told you some time ago that I will discuss this after some time. See, this is a Vmax. Okay, as you see this point, that this point become constant. It means what? It means after this the transport will not occur. Clear? So it become constant. Okay, and see, this is half Vmax, and this half Vmax is nothing but it is Km. Okay, this half Vmax is nothing but it is Km, where half of the glucose is transported. Okay, Clear? Okay, and during the initiation the transport of glucose is basically at point 0. Okay, and thereby it basically transported and it first reach half Vmax, that is Km, and then reach Vmax. Okay, below which transport will not occur. Okay, clear? In this figure, GLUT1, that is erythrocyte, and GLUT2, that is liver cell, shown the transport of glucose in this graph. Clear? So now let's move to another transporter protein, that is channel proteins. Okay, now I think you have got a clear idea about facilitated diffusion and about carrier protein, that is carrier mediated protein transport, and I think you have got a clear idea about this. Okay, and if you still have any confusion, and please comment. Now we are going to discuss about channel proteins. Okay, as I already mentioned, the channel protein create a channel, then through that channel the transport will occur. Okay, so the time requirement here is less. That why the channel protein, the rate of diffusion is higher than that of carrier protein. Always remember, in case of channel mediated protein, the rate of diffusion is higher than that of carrier protein. Clear? Channel protein basically concerned with inorganic ions transport. As I already mentioned, that channel protein basically concerned with transport of inorganic ions. Okay, and this channel proteins are highly selective. Clear? It is highly selective. Clear? And the last point is that some channel proteins are gated. Okay, and some channel proteins are non-gated. What do you mean by gated and non-gated? See, gated means it requires some signal, like you can say some voltage signal, or you can say that some ligand signal, and without that signals the channel will not open. That why it gated, that without any stimulation the channel will not open. That is gated. And in case of non-gated, it does not require any signal, it was permanently open. So these are two types of channel proteins. Okay, I briefly discussed about the channel proteins in my previous lectures of cell biology. Please, if you don't watch my previous lecture, then please go and watch. Okay, so this is all about today's lecture, and with this lecture we completed the passive transport part. Okay, okay, as we discussed briefly in yesterday's lecture about the simple diffusion, first part of passive transport, and today we discuss facilitated diffusion, that is the second part of passive transport. Okay, so if you not watch the simple diffusion video, then please watch. I provide the description, I provide the link in the description box. Okay, and please share this channel as much as possible. Okay, we will meet tomorrow, and we will going to start another type of transport system, that is active transport. Okay, very important from CSR net point of view. So till then, thank you.